All right. There is a lot that I want to cover today. There's a lot. There was a reasonably manageable amount when I first woke up today. I was like, "Oh, I have nothing to do today. There is no I made a demo, but I got no response. So what's the point of making more demos?" And then I was like, I work on my SEO. Who cares? Never get any traffic. And But then, I started getting excited about this whole about feed bots site. So this is the Feedbot site, uh, and there are a few things that I would like to do to it. So for starters, I want a box that sets the number of days parameter, because this is right now it's set to 14 days. So show me how many posts there have been in the last 14 days. I want to just be able to adjust that. Oh, and I need it to tell me which one I clicked on right here at the top, because I forget. I repeatedly forget which one I'm looking at. And then, um, oh, it would also be good to have the keywords that it's searching for, that you can adjust those in a box right here, because right now it's the keywords are like generative engine optimization, AI visibility, structured data, etc. But it would just be good to be able to change those whenever you feel like it. Um, and another thing, there's no reason why this should come in at the same time as this comes in, because this is so much more stuff. This should be much faster. So the way that JavaScript is set up, it's just instead of displaying things as they come in, it waits until everything comes in to display anything. So I want to change that. So that's like 3 or 4 things that I wanted to change there. And then I wrote a blog post with ChatGPT, and I wanted to go through that. Mostly just to talk about the process of writing a blog post with it, and yeah, there's a lot to say on that. But I don't want to. It's hard to say anything about it without getting into it all the way. Um, and then, as always, I want to make another demo, and then, and that's like enough stuff. That is enough stuff to work on today. However, then the guy that I sent the demo to yesterday, he actually did check it out, and that made me realize a few things. For starters, I should follow up on it with him, uh, and I should check and see, like based on the chat transcripts, how that demo went. I should fix my notification so that I can see the actual responses. I'm only seeing the inputs that he put in, not the responses. Uh, and it just made me realize that I've been just assuming that, like, well, oh, like chatbots work in any language. So just you don't really have to do anything special for it to work in Chinese. It'll just work in Chinese. And um I mean, I still think it matters that I speak Chinese or can read Chinese because, like, that way I can know, if it works or not, or like if there was an errors or if it gave a nonsensical response, I can actually know. Or if they're trying to tell me something, I can like the client is trying to explain something to me, then I'll understand what he's talking about. But what I realized is that like there's quite a few cases where like for example, when you press the main menu button, what it actually sends is return to index. And what this is like a signal to the chatbot that maybe it should be answering in English. Uh, and the chatbots are listed in English, regardless of whether the manifest is in English. When you do the browser bot and you click the list pages button is always going to be in English. Now the pages themselves, the buttons for the pages themselves can be in Chinese if the title of the page is in Chinese on the website, because the website is Chinese. And it made me realize that probably most likely I'm gonna wanna just create an entirely new, just create a new directory with all the same files, but go through and change all the English to Chinese basically. Because just assuming that it's gonna be like easy to like tag Chinese on there and it won't mess up anything else, is that's a big assumption. I don't think it's gonna work. But so that's like a bunch of extra work. And then because I was like physically destroyed when I woke up, I couldn't like my eyes hurt. They still do. But I had to go out for a walk. I had to. And so then when I was walking, I ended up doing like trying to make lists off of using deep research to make lists. And that so I made like a bunch of lists and I have to go through because I ran out of like it was like we're down like you've used up all of your deep research for this month. So you could still use deep research, but it's like giving you a lighter model. That's what it said basically. And so I tried that and I need to see how the quality of the results are. And then I just tried making a list without even using deep research at all, just using ChatGPT 5, but using the prompt that I had kind of like honed on deep research. And we'll just see the difference there between the light deep research model and ChatGPT 5. Um, and then I also realized that it would be really good if I could use the script I have that determines whether or not a website is a WordPress website. Um, I should make some edits to that. It should just return a list, like a usable, like the ones that are WordPress. They should be just there in the format that I need them to be in, so I can paste them directly into the domain file. So I should do that. And the other thing is for this list here of how many posts in how many days, I want it to be uh, to rank them in order of the number of posts. And for this, potentially, I would like to have to have the answer stream in, to have the content stream in. It might be worthwhile. But I'm trying not to like just go and do whatever I think of right away. make sure it's something that like I actually need. If improve something, it should be something I'm going to actually utilize multiple times. So, all that said, I think I'm going to start by looking at these lists. So, let's take a look. Is that really 50? That doesn't look like 50 to me. Anyways, though, so here's the Los Angeles list. Here's the Houston list. I don't know when it stopped utilizing deep research. Also, I feel like these conversations are ordered in terms of when the response came back. Okay, so this one is deep research, but probably the light version. This one is deep. This one was not deep research. Well, this one's deep research light, I guess. But I determined that the easiest way for it to determine how big an agency is its listing on LinkedIn. And I mean that just in terms of like what ChatGPT has easy access to. It seems to have really good access to LinkedIn because it was telling me like that it should go on domain authority. And I was like, okay, then fine, then like compare the domain authority of these SEO agencies. And it was like, oh, I can't. But it has no problem comparing the number of employees listed on LinkedIn. So if I'm looking for small SEO agencies, I can tell it like only with those with less than 10 employees on LinkedIn. That okay. So the first I want to do is plug in my computer before it dies. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just edit that file that processes these lists. So let's start a new. edit this file so that it will only use the array if there is no post set. And if there is a post set, then it will use that with via the PHP input method. I actually already did this code like in my while I was out walking around, so I truly don't need to recreate it, but I'd almost rather redo it than look through. Okay. Okay, where do I stop? Okay, I think I found the right spot. That was where it was to begin with. Now, just one time, let's make sure that it runs properly. Now that we have updated that, nope, I broke it. Looks like I just declared the beginning of a PHP file 2 times. Still broken. I'm confused. Okay, I am pretty sure the issue is simply about where before we had the thing, the array was called list, and then we changed it to blogs. So pretty sure now that we've adjusted those variable names, it will work again. And that was slow. I should really have just edited the list down to 2 or 3. Anyways, it does work. So, you know what I'm realizing though as I do this is that I really should, if I want this to not be so slow, I have to use multi-curl. But I'm gonna just change it to be exactly the way I want it to be, and then just take the whole code and say to ChatGPT, "Make this multi-curl," and just see what happens, see if it works. Okay, so what I wanted to do is, okay, you know what? The key is to try not to edit code, but just keep on adding on to the end of the code. That's the key to vibe coding. How do I add a block to the end of this, which will output a list only of the WordPress accessible blogs? I forgot to paste the code in. That's what I always do. Okay, it's not that clean. It's not actually as clean as as ChatGPT was claiming, because it's not just adding a block at the end. This is editing a block which already exists. But it's only one line, so I don't think we're gonna mess anything up with that. And we are not making a whole nother um, CURL call, so I'm okay with that. Okay, and now let's take a look at the output. And I brought it down to so. accessible WordPress blogs. Um, wherever it says, here's what I'm going to do. Can I do this without making a mess? I probably can't. Never mind. I was going to just replace all of the backslash ends with break tags. But I'm worried that there's a backslash n in some other thing that doesn't need to be in there, so whatever. Okay, echo br. Cool. So now we should get an actually readable, usable list. There we go. How do I remove the https:// and www if it exists from each URL in accessible first? This is a part of the issue of, ChatGPT and education is that I've done this so many millions of times. This exact thing, removing and to the point where I would, if I had been writing that out by myself each time, then I would have car. I would have just been able to spew that out without even thinking about it. But because every single time I ask ChatGPT and then I paste it in there, so now instead of just being able to write it myself, I am dependent on asking ChatGPT. Okay, so that works. And now what I want to do is add a text input. All right. How do I add a text area with a submit button that, when pressed, will post the input to this same file? Didn't I already do that? This first part. Okay. I don't like this at all, but you know what? I mean, I can probably just. All right, I'm just gonna replace everything, and it's probably gonna work just fine. So let's find out. Um, Somehow, no, I'm not so sure it's gonna work just fine. Put the list of Milwaukee SEO agencies in a code box. It's impossible to turn off deep research once you're in a deep research conversation. This is annoying, very annoying. Make this into a comma separated list. Oh, see, this is exactly what I was talking about. Why I only want to like add things before a file or add things after a file or update things or update like one line at a time is because like what it did here is it added these bullet points, which turns out it's not going to be a problem. But it's like that's an extra thing I didn't ask for. I didn't ask for these bullet points. Just thought that maybe I would want bullet points. And if that messes up my ability to paste that into the file ultimately, then gonna annoy me. So we'll just see whether or not this works. Okay. At first, I was thinking that it it just relisted all of them. All right, whatever. That's kind of annoying, just because like I don't know. The code was organized in such a way that I would have no problem understanding what it does and therefore editing it in the future if I wanted to. But now it's organized in the way that ChatGPT organized it, which it's not a big piece of code, so it doesn't make a big difference. But it's just kind of annoying because, oh, damn it, what did I do? Do that. It's fine. Okay. Here we go. So let's go to domains. I'm going to create a file called milwaukee.text. And now if I go to the Feedbots home page, there should be a Milwaukee section. There we go. Zero posts, zero posts, zero posts, zero posts, zero posts, zero posts, zero posts. One post from Brew City Marketing and absolutely no output. That's not very helpful. Uh, I San Diego. Put the no. See, that's the problem. I can't really. Make this one into a comma separated list as well. You, yeah, I ran into this problem before. When I'm trying to copy the list, it looks like I should have, it looks like there should have been no problem, but instead I get the response to the initial prompt. Strange. Okay. Add HTTPS in front of each of these URLs. So there's another example of why you don't want to just take full files provided by ChatGPT, because before when a URL was invalid, it would give me a warning saying these URLs are invalid, and now it just doesn't give a response. So if I'm testing like this many URLs, these are all the URLs I just tested, then and there's no response, then I know that so there's a big error going on. But if I was only testing like 3 and there was no response, I might just assume, "Oh, like everything worked fine." But what the Well, this is slow, but all right. So this is San Diego. Yeah, this is pretty slow. Damn, that's real slow. There we go. It works though. Right. So San Diego, how HR and AI cybersecurity are shaping modern workforce protection, comparing AI SEO platforms. Let's check that out. KPI frameworks for AI content. That sounds good. Headless CMS plus AI integrations. That sounds good. AI-driven content readability fixes. AI for log file analysis, human plus AI editing workflows. There's a lot of good articles coming out of San Diego. Damn, that is, oh, they're all the same. They're all from Team Soda. Not a single one is not from Team Soda, which they have 17 posts in the last 14 days. The ad firm has 15 posts. WP Hatch has 35 posts. So I just want to see like what is WPHatch.com writing about if they have 35 posts in the last 14 days and none of them mention any of my target keywords. They are inaccessible. All right, I don't care enough. Theadfirm.net. Let's check them. Oh, looks like two of the articles I've opened were actually from the ad firm. So no need to check them. We already got a good idea of what they're about there. Okay, now goals, which I will do. Just want to look and see whether or not I have grabbed all of the lists. I think I still have two. I still have Houston and Boston. Right? Do we see Houston on here? Nope. Do we see Boston on there? No. I. All right, I think we can read one of these lists or one of these articles. When that's done, when we're done reading this, that'll be done. When comparing AI SEO platforms, you'll find options ranging from $29 to $500 monthly. Search Atlas, basic optimization, enterprise solution. I'm a little confused. I don't even know what a AI SEO platform is. Really? What do they do? While enterprise features focus on managing thousands of pages across multiple domains and languages, small business functionalities prioritize streamlined single domain optimization. Enterprise solutions like BrightEdge, Conductor, and Botify can handle thousands of URLs across multiple languages. I'm a little confused as to what the point of this article was. Okay, looks like our Houston list is ready. And so we should have just one more list left, Boston. Oh, that is bad. That's annoying. Again, I went and I copied the results from deep research and then instead of giving me the list, It gave me the response to the initial prompt, which is kind of amazing that that can even happen. God damn it. There we go. Okay. All right. So I have looked up the Boston ones and it is working on them. Let's figure out what are KPI frameworks for AI content. Readability scores like Flesh Kincaid to ascertain that your AI content matches your brand's preferred complexity level. Track engagement metrics to compare AI-generated content against human-written pieces. Implement pre-publication consistency checks to catch terminology misuse and tone misalignment. Measure guideline adherence rates through batch content analysis scans. Brand voice consistency can lead to a 33% revenue boost. Seems like a logical thinking error going on there. I really want to look in that direction, but you know what? I don't want to expose the insaneness of the stuff behind me, but unfortunately, it's obvious that I'm insane. So who cares? Compliance and risk management frameworks, regulatory adherence, incident response. Using AI content with robust KPI frameworks, see a 47% increase in content production efficiency. Yup. Guess what? If you don't use the KPI frameworks, you can get an infinite content production efficiency boost. Your content won't be good. Okay. So these ones are Boston. This is the Boston list. All right. Headless scientists. All right. I burned out on reading these articles at the moment, so I'm just going to put them in Google Saved. Generative engine optimization versus SEO similarities and differences. That is from the ad firm. Another one from the ad firm, the marketer's GEO checklist, 7 steps to improve your AI search visibility. Step 1 is audit your current visibility. How can you do that if you don't know? Benchmark against competitors using AI tools, document baseline metrics. 2, target high intent local and GEO keywords. Location specific long tail query opportunities. Optimize technical foundations for AI readability. Yeah, whether or not this is useful, I don't know. Title and meta optimization with AI is the last one from Team Soda. Clearly, the next thing I'm going to want to do is have a bookmarking system. Because if I have a bookmarking system, then I can just add these URLs to the list without having to mess around with all that I just did. All right, so let's see here. We do not have Boston. We do not have Houston. We do not have we do have San Diego. But once I refresh this page, oh, there we go. We got Houston, we got Boston. Let's do alphabetical order. Damn. That's a huge list of 0 posts. Get Found Quick is doing a lot of posting. Why is there? They all have 0 posts in 2 weeks. That seems like for an SEO agency. I don't know. I will say though, yesterday I was getting a lot of these WordPress not accessible. And it seemed like when I started out, I was getting like few, and then it became more and more the more I looked at them. And so I was starting to worry that there was like an auto blocking system going on. Building trust signals that AI recognizes. I'm going to add that. How important is review schema? I want that too. I want them all. How schema impacts your chances of showing up. Oh, you know what? On my phone, I can just save to Google Saved just by clicking like share, which is very convenient. Okay. See, this is what I'm talking about. I don't even remember what I was looking at right there. And I needed to tell. Should I work on that? Interesting. I'm echoing out all the HTML from the PHP. Weird move, but whatever. All right, whatever. Let's just explain how I would make minimal edits to this code so that when a click happens, uh, there the the region chosen will be displayed in a div above the post counts div. Do not provide the entire file, just the few lines that need to be edited. Right. Again, I feel like it's giving me unnecessarily. There's actually a simpler way to do that because we already have. Okay, no, it's doing exactly what I was. All right. So now there should be like a. Okay. I was thinking that took a long time considering that I know for a fact that Arizona only has one thing, but that's because that's because that one feed has 1,050 posts, which broke my feed bot, and I had to update it, so it only grabs 20 pages worth of content. Okay, where were we? Boston? Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, um, again, I want this to load first so I can look at it before this loads. And it just should take a lot less time. So gotta look at those URLs, fetch both in parallel. All right, so I feel like this part, explain how to edit this part so that the results are not displayed at the same time, but are displayed when the results come in. It's not the way I wanted to phrase that, but he'll probably understand what the hell I'm talking about. So, Okay. Please provide the entire code. Oh, I trust it. Interesting. Um, so that was like instantaneous, but this is nothing. Is that because there's nothing for Minnesota? Which one did we just Boston has a lot of content that so there we go. Houston. Let's try Houston. Just the one, huh? Okay, one more thing. I just want to rearrange these so that it lists the ones with the most lists, so that it lists them based on how many posts. So Pretty sure I already checked on how to do this here. I'm doing everything backwards here because it's like I asked it how to fix the JavaScript. I actually had the JavaScript because I can pull it off of my website even when I'm on my phone, without having to sign into the backend. And then I just ignored that conversation. But I also asked it how to fix the PHP, which it did not have access to. And now I'm going to go hunt down. Oh yeah, and then I wanted to make it so that there's a input or a slider or something that where you can adjust the number of days it shows here. Um, Anyways, what are we doing here? Okay, so step one. We're gonna look at this loop and how it works, and then figure out because all it's doing is echoing. It's not building an array. I'm also really tempted to make this into a server sent event file and then just have it echo all the data as the data comes in. What is the minimal edit necessary so that this for each loop will build an array of posts, of URLs and posts numbers for that URL as it goes through them. Do not make or propose any other edits. Don't do too much, always the hardest part. Now, how do I sort the results array um, based on the post count with the most posts being the first items in the array? It's definitely if you could definitely if I was using cursor or whatever, I could just be like, make it do this. Now make it do this. Now make it do this. But now how do I echo each of the array items in results? Okay, there we go. Obviously, this is a terrible UI, but I will fix that as it annoys me. In the meanwhile, the information that I need, which is what I'm looking at, and then the a list of posts in order is fine. Ideally, I would want this to be up top, uh, and that would not be hard to accomplish. But for now, we're just going. Okay. Oh, I don't even think I was sharing any of that. Right. So here we have a list of posts, or a list of how many posts for each URL for the last 2 weeks. So the one thing I wanted to do was make it so that there's like a I can slide the number of days parameter and the keywords parameter. I'm not really I don't think I'm gonna work on that right now, but what I will do right now is just make it echo the keywords being used. Um, all right. So which file do I need to edit to do that? This one. The keywords being used are structured data, markup schema, JSON LD, visibility, AI, AI SEO, Gen AI, LLM, GPT, ChatGPT, generative engine optimization, GAE, and GEO. Well, it looks like it's time to get high on marijuana, which is going to make it harder to figure out how to do this. Because the hardest part of coding is remembering which directory you're supposed to be working on and which file you're supposed to be working on and which part of that file. And when you have impaired short-term memory, it makes it a lot harder. Okay, I'm pretty sure literally at any point, but after I define the keywords, I can just echo them, and then that will make it so that they will show up before the posts. So again, terrible UI, but at least it gives me the information that I would be looking for. Now, if I find myself wanting to edit the keywords constantly, then yep, then I will, at the very least, I would want to put that in its own section and make it so that you can just edit them within this page. Okay, I just added the word posts filtered by these keywords in front of that, so that way at least it's not confusing. So we got 12 posts from Searchbloom, but not a single one of them is showing up. So let's just see what happens. Huh. I haven't built into this file like an easy way to just turn off the filtering at all, which I should. So what I'm gonna do is go to searchbloom.com and find their blog and just add keywords that I know are in their blog posts because I'm looking at their blog posts. Yeah. Okay, literally all of their blog posts have the word SEO in them. So I'm just going to change the keywords to SEO and then see whether the total found posts actually matches. Um, all right, so the keywords are now SEO. And where are we? We're in Texas. See, I'm glad I added that. I would have forgotten. A lot of these are from SearchPlum. Um, so obviously the other thing that would be good would be to just show a post count of because these are all their posts. And then these are all their posts ordered in terms of who has the most posts, obviously, but it's not actually filtering them by any key terms at all. So it would be kind of good to be like, you know, that said, all of the post titles are right here. And all I would really need to do to get a think at a glance, figure out how many posts from each is just add the URL to the output here, which I'm pretty sure I can do very simply with one little line. P URL. There we go. I wrote one line of code without the help of ChatGPT. I bet you it doesn't work. Damn it, I broke it. Damn it. I'm incapable of writing one line of code without the help of ChatGPT. Interesting. Would never have thought that the problem was that I was supposed to echo without quotes. That was the problem, right? Hmm. Not that it really matters, but that was not what I was attempting to do. I mean, that does work, but what I wanted to do is just show the domain, not the full URL for each link. So the question is root JSON. If JSON equals all posts. All right, I think this is gonna do what I was trying to do there. Yeah, there we go. So now we just have the domain listed. I think it's supposed to remove the HTTPS part too, though. I don't know why that's still on there. Oh, all right. So this should remove the HTTPS without actually changing anything else. And let's see if it worked. It did work, but I don't like the www either. I also don't like the .com, but I don't. But if we're just using this method, then we would have to list .com, .net, every potential. And I know there's an easy way to do it. If you, I mean, there's like a built-in PHP function that would just remove the .com or whatever. So, all right. This is Sacramento. Bad choice because they might not have anything. Oh, well, Sacramento Surge Bloom is showing up in Sacramento, and where else? Where were we just looking at where Surge Bloom was showing up? I thought, oh, I have a long list for Sacramento. Just a lot of them are not WordPress accessible. I really need to update that the JSON finder so that instead of comma separator values, it's just one per line, one URL per line, and then also um, it adds the HTTPS automatically. Because that way the format that I put it into that and the format that I get out of that and the format which is stored how it's stored in the files, which is just the domain name with no HTTPS, no www, and no commas, just one per line. And this is just confusing where it's listing the number of posts, but it's not. I mean, I could just make a note here like these are the post amounts with 0 keywords filtering. But Oh, check out that cool, how cool that came out. Did I do something to change the way that this is being displayed? I didn't think it would be displayed that well. Okay, that's probably enough messing around with that particular feed bot for today, but I still have to go over the demo for the Taiwan company that the guy tested out, and I have to go over the blog post and the process of writing the blog post, which there's a lot because it tries to get into all sorts of different topics within the blog post. And then there's the automated blog post creator. And then there's making another demo for another company today, but that will have to wait.